Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. As-salatu salam Nabiyana Kareem. Allah alayhi salatu salam. My dear brothers and sisters in Africa or Caribbean or America or where you may be today, it gives me great honor that I can talk about our ancestral brothers and their jihad to preserve Islam and the thought that I have that they have been slighted and our history has been basically removed out. And, you know, it's kind of disgraceful, to be honest with you, but it's my honor to honor our Muslim relatives who have been dishonored by the dishonorable historians, especially the current historians who have slighted our brothers and role that they played in Andalus. And this is one reason why I like to take up the matter for this. But this is a very important chapter in the saga of Al-Andalus. And Al-Andalus would not be under Muslim rule for 700 years if something didn't happen to preserve it. And as you heard me say many times, our racist historians, some are Arab, some Amazigh, some are Tubab, and even we have Black Tubab who have rewritten this history to make our ancestral brothers to be Tubab. Or they say that we entered into Andalus as slaves. So I'm going to correct some things, and I'm going to give you this saga because it's a beautiful and heart-wrenching saga that occurred. Let me see who's here. Assalamu alaikum, my dear sister Amina. Yes, thank you very much for your words, kind words. So let me give you my felicitation. Assalamu alaikum, rahmatullahi barakatuh, lil ikhwani wati fi din, wa salamu ala mani tabahuda lil ikhwani wati fi Africa, Europa, wa America, Caribbean, kuli makan. Anjarama to my full-faith community. So let's get started here. As you heard me talk here last week, or maybe I think it's 2 weeks, I can't remember now, time is flying. I talked to you about what's happened in Andalus, how we got into Andalus, who participated in Andalus, and what happened, how our brothers disappeared in Andalus. I explained that in depth, gave you all the evidence. I'm not going to go over that again. For those who now tune in for this in the future, you go review that tape, be brought up to speed about what happened. We have a second part that calls for the preservation of Andalus and how we participated in this as well. And so the first thing that we have to do is we must begin with the determination. And before we get back into Andalus, I have to give you this education as far as about, because you hear everything in the world about designation of Moors, morals, and whatnot. You hear me talking about Amazigh, and we know the Tubab call the Amazigh people, which I have heritage as well, the Moroccan people, they call them Berbers. It's equivalent to the N word that they call us. It's a disgraceful term. We should not use it because Berber means barbarian, because the Europeans designate them because their ways, means, and their languages and so forth and so on. So they call them Berber. It's wrong, brothers and sisters. Okay, it's no different than us black people being called the N word. So we should call them for what my Amazigh brothers said Amazigh. So this is what they are, and that's why you always see me giving that designation. But we have to go to this word more, because I'm going to show you something, how it's been changed around, and even on YouTube. You see the designation of more, meaning black, and the designation of more, meaning burnt by the sun. Burnt by the sun. That's not a Tubab. That's a black man. The name Moro was given to Moroccan men by the Spanish and Portuguese. So I'm going to take you back to history, because I need to get you up to speed so you'll know what I'm talking about as I give you this course, this talk on Andalus and what happened. Because I just can't give 2 minutes for our ancestral brothers to say this happened here, 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 and that's it. And we walk out of here and you scratch your head. You say, well, I don't understand. I'm going to give you all of this, because our ancestors are worth it. And we should not disrespect our Muslim ancestors who went there, fought there, died there, and so forth and so on, by, saying things and not giving them their honor. Now, Moro, name of Moroccan men. I have a great uncle by the name of Moro. I told you about my Moroccan ancestry. That name was given because when the Portuguese took the Moroccan men, they call them Moro. Moros for many. They call Morocco Morocqueen. This is the name they designated this. Now you say, well, why are we talking about Morocco? Morocco and Fulani, I will give you this, are like this. I'm going to tell you right now. If you saw my program Andalus, I gave you a lot of information then. I gave you also information about the DNA. You look at most Moroccans, they have DNA that what? Is not, you don't see Hausa much. You see sometimes Soninke, some Soninke, maybe, but you see majority have Fula. That's right, Fula. Now, how can that be? So I'm getting you to this. So bear with me. So they took the blacks from Morocco and they called them Moro. More. Moros for many. Okay, now let's get into something here. Okay, here. I hope it wasn't removed, because oh, here we go. No, that's not it. Excuse me. That's not it. Oh man, okay. I had while I was late, I had problems. It's like they went into my system and they removed a lot of the pictures and photos out of here. I think they did a good job. Right before I started, they began to remove pictures. That's not, I wanted to show you, here we go. Okay, I'm put this back in. Now, brothers and sisters, okay, I want you to take a good look at this. This man is supposed to be on the right is a famous Mujahid. He comes out from Bilad es Sudan, meaning what? Land of the black people, right? So if it's from the land of the black people, how can he look like this? This is what I'm talking about. On your left is Alphonso, which is correct because he is a Tubab. He's an ancient the Spaniard. They called them Visigoths at that time. But I want to show you this, how adept that is gone now to remove our ancestors completely from the scene. When we know that more means burnt by the sun. This man is Tubab. So how can that be? But this is what we're dealing with. And I understand why our brothers and sisters don't go into history, because every time they turn around, when something's wrong, yes, they show us black. But when we do something, or they show us conquering, going in, taking it to the Tubab or something like this, suddenly they start coming up with names like Hamites and troglodytes and all kind of the names to throw you away from Africa. So this is something I wanted to show you the depth of how racism is going to remove our Fulani and Soninke brothers, our Hausa brothers, Bambara brothers from the history of Andalus. I just wanted to show you that. So now I'm starting to give you this picture about Moor. Now you can argue because I'm gonna tell you something. We even have our own black folk will tell you that Moor does not mean black. I've had even some Fulanis in chat, Fulani people, our people, come and tell me that Moor does not mean that. When I asked them, what does it mean? They couldn't give me, each one gave me some different definition. When I tried to explain to them what it really meant, especially they were our sisters, they just denounced it. They said I was ignorant and stupid. They said, no, you don't know what you talk about. And so they removed me out of the chat. So we have ignorance coming all over the place, regardless of white, black, we have this ignorance. But I wanted to show you this because I want you to understand Moor means burnt by the sun. Burnt by, not brown, not lightly burnt. That's a black man. And you remember, brother, sister, I gave you evidence of Scobie, what he said when our brothers entered Andalus in the 700s. He said they were what? Pitch black. Pitch black. So that I want to get out of the way there so we can get this designation going, and then we can get this understanding about that and whatnot, so we'll know. And I have to touch on the Amazigh people, because the Amazigh, any of us who have a history of the Fulani people, the Fula people, you cannot have this history without the Amazigh being in it, because both of us came out from Egypt. Both of us came out, I don't know if the same time or near time, because our cultures are so similar. And that's why we have intermarried with them. And they're white. They're not white. They're not Tuba. They're black also, but they speak another dialect. But we do have white Amazigh. Yes, we have that because of the amalgamation. And I explained that in my last program as well. But you talking about the origins of this, they were black folk. See, so let me see here. We got some Marcus. How you doing, my dear brother? Salam alaikum. My dear sister, she said this, and she says salam to me. And Marcus, I heard people talk about Moors all the time. Yes, my dear brother, Moors is a hot topic, very hot topic. We have people now changing the definition of Moors, as you heard me say, to mean somebody from Italy or somebody from Spain or somebody from Russia. They won't tell you it's black. Now this is what is happening, because why? They're trying to throw back the invasion, the conquest of Andalus, and they don't want them to want you or me or anyone else to know is black folk. As I said before, we left a mark there. Remember what you heard me say a week ago about my program? We left a mark. We created, because of our conquest in Andalus, we made it with the Spanish woman, and they call those people Melungeons. Many of the Melungeons you see today are the Moroccans. That's right, brothers and sisters. They are Moroccans. Many of them are modern day Moroccans. Some of them are light skinned, some are dark skinned. And you saw my pictures I gave. You saw very black skinned Melungeons with straight hair and so forth. See, so I'm giving you this because I'm building you up to something to explain to you, to give you further proof how our ancestor brothers were there. So, salam alaikum, my dear brother. Yes, this is, no, brother, this type of thing here, you're talking about the Moors that sold the black men into slavery. No, brothers and sisters. Let me explain something to you. Yes, we have rogue people, because we have, even on the East Coast, we have Arabs who enslaved black folk. We have that. We had black folk in West Africa in with the Tubab who took our people. That's how my ancestors get over there with treachery and helped the Tubab to capture our ancestors and send them into the Americas. True enough. But the Moors that we talk about in the invasion of and the conquest of Andalus were not slavers, because they were there on jihad. They were there for war. As you heard, if you saw my program last week, that's what I urge you. You need to look at that first, because we're not talking about the Moors that are in Mauritania today. Mauritanians who their country is named after Moor, meaning black. Yes, they have it. I saw that in Sudan. I was in Sudan. I saw black folk have other black folk as slaves. I saw that. True enough. But what we're talking about now is a historical fact about Andalus. That's what we're talking about right now. We're talking about something between the years 700, okay, AD to almost 1100. We're talking about that. And our ancestral brothers, Fulani brothers, Soninke brothers, were not slavers. They were master in jihad and war and fighting. See, they weren't sitting around doing like our ancestral brothers who were, treacherous and so forth, who sent our ancestors over. No, they were there to fight. And that's why they've been highly regarded, and why this conquest, if they were there doing mischief, we wouldn't be talking about them today. But they did their mischief in another way. They went into Andalus and kicked the Tubab's butt, essentially, okay, and came back again and did the same thing. So, yeah, that's another subject all in itself. Most of the House and Fulani state that they came from either Egypt or Sudan. Yes, none of us, brothers and sisters, have a complete, concrete picture of where the Fula people actually originated from. My contention is that it was Egypt. And I have many indications of that, because the West Africans are your ancient Egyptians, because we know the West Africans came over when it opened up. And they began to go from the Exodus. We know they came in West Africa because we have remnants of things that we kept when we left there, and we still have them, like the chair from the I think it's the Asante people there in Ghana. They have a chair that's mimic the same chair that they brought back, and they honor this chair that he took out of Egypt. I can't think of the name of the chair, but if you look at the chair, I've seen many pictures. It's got all the inscriptions of Egypt. We were there. And we left there. See, and you got to remember something. Egypt was called what? Kemt, the Black Lands. Black Lands. That's right. Black Lands mean not the soil is black, the people. That's what they call themselves. The Kemt is the name of their country and everything. And they originated from where? From Victoria, Lake Victoria. Where's Lake Victoria, brothers and sisters? You read the hieroglyphics, the Book of the Dead. They explain to you that their origin, they came on boats from Lake Victoria. Where is that? That's in what? Eastern part, southeastern part where? Of what? Africa. And they traveled up the Nile, up into modern day Egypt as we understand it. Not Europe, not Greece. See, so that's how we know they're black. So I wanted to get that out. By the way, Lake Chat established. Yes, they had that. This is true. Yes, that's another kingdom in itself, and that's way ahead of the story. But today, brothers and sisters, we're going to get back onto Andalus, because this is why I'm talking about this is because of the what has happened to the historians out of whites, Hispanics, you name it, have taken us out of this history. And that's why I'm talking about this today. Now, okay. The Sahara in Arabic, Sahara, north, the blacks were named Moors. I told you that. South of the Sahara, named Sudan. Now, brothers and sisters, oh boy, here we go. Yes. I got to get back out of this. Excuse me. Okay, I'm sorry, brothers and sisters. I'm having a lot of compromising. That's why I was late. they broke in and they start to do things to my program, so I wouldn't be able to bring it. So, I have many enemies. But the name Sudan was given. You heard me talk in one talk here about 4 or 5 months ago about Sudan. The name Sudan, right? And why this name is significant. Because Sudan is the name that was given to every black man from the region, irrespective of where he was at. That's where they called us that. And this map here kind of shows you when the people talk about, they'll say Bilad Sudan. We're not talking about modern day Sudan. They talk about anything south, like the Moroccan, the southern part of Morocco, Mauritania, Mali, and so forth. But you have white historians today have eliminated Bilad Sudan to the green because they don't want you to know that you went into Andalus. They trying to tell you so far you never went into Andalus and established Andalus under Islamic banner because they want to paint that thing, this thing, the Moors, as white. But this is not the case. This name will be prominent as I go further into the story talking about what happened, because it's very, very interesting. And I have to give you this backdrop so you'll understand when I start talking about Sudani. Don't think I'm talking about the Sudanese people of today. No, we're talking about people who are from the southern part of Morocco to your left. This is in Arabic, I understand. Let me see if I got English so you can see it better. Okay, I'm talking about people from southern part of Morocco, which this is not politically correct map, but the southern part of Morocco to your left, Mauritania, all the way across to Sudan, and this is where we call all the way down across Cameroon and so forth and so on. This is what we call Bilad Sudan. This is what the people from the north designated us by saying he's Sudani. Sudani meaning black. Soda means black. This is not the equivalent to being called the N-word. No, it's a proud title that they gave us. Proud title they gave us. See, so it's not negative, it's positive. So I wanted to get you to understand that. Now, meaning black, I told you my great uncle had the name Moral, meaning Moor. All my folks were black folk, okay? I remember my grandmothers on both sides. They were not Tuba. My mom's side, Fulani, they were light-skinned, long hair. Okay, very, very long hair. I remember, I see cousins, I remembered, my cousin, and I used to look at him, as I told the story, I used to look and say, because I'm dark complected, like more so on my dad's side. My dad has Igbo, he's got Omo people from Sudan, modern day Sudan. And my mom, very light brown skin. I used to see my grandmother and I used to see my aunties, and I would wonder, I would try to figure it out sometime, you know what I mean? But my sister had hair all the way down to her, when she was young, he had hair all the way down to her knees as well. So it wasn't until after years 2021, I learned my heritage. And I was not shocked, to be honest with you, because I started looking at my mom's complexion, the mannerisms, food, and things that was said to tell me that she was, she's from the full of people. So, but this is another indication here. We talk about this, and my great-great-grandmother, who was taken from Morocco, she was part Amazigh and part Fulani, okay? Straight out. Because my sister, on her DNA, shows 25% of the Amazigh people, which I'll get into that in a minute. Okay, now, I want to talk to you about the origins, because the Amazigh people and the Fulani people, we are just like this. I believe we came basically from the same region of Egypt. We spoke different languages, and we went the same trek, which was across from Egypt across into modern day Algeria, and then some of us went down south. This is what I believe. Okay, I contend this. And there's a word that is used in that designated the Amazigh people, Mozab. Okay, yeah. This term here, Mozab. Do your research, brothers and sisters. This term here, you look at the word, Mozab. The Mozab people came out from where? Egypt. If you have a Mozab people, you have some, they're Fulani also. See? And they are the modern day Amazigh, which the negative term is Berber. Mozab. You check this research, very interesting. When I saw my sister, she had 25% of this, Mozab. I never even heard of this term until I started to do research and I got a hold of Jet Match. Jet Match explained a lot of things to me. Then I started hitting the books to find out. I found these people, Mozab, where they came out of ancient Egypt. This coincides with something because as you heard me talk previous shows, brothers and sisters, I had dreams when I was in America about Africa. And when I started to hit, dreams were so powerful, I finally came in 2022. The first dreams began to happen in 2000. And then I went to the court to change my name to reflect my ancestors without DNA. Without DNA, I didn't know. See? And what's interesting about this is that the name of the kingdom that they created after they left Egypt in modern day, Algeria, okay, when they left, is Shabaka. That's my name. That's right, brothers and sisters. The Amazigh people, who we know is mixed today with Fulani, created this is before I even knew anything. I was told to take the name of my great ancestor, Shabaka. Shabaka, if you know anything about Shabaka in ancient Egypt, he was a ruler in the 24th dynasty of Egypt. And I saw him in my dream. I went after that to the court and took the name Shabaka. When the Mozab people, who we know today is mixed with Fulani, okay? When they went across, they went into Algeria, the modern day Algeria, because it was named Morocco at that time. And they established a kingdom called Shabaka. That's right, brothers and sisters. That's right. And that's not where I want to go here. Okay, no, it's not. Where is it at here? Well, I don't know what happened to. Anyway, they removed it out. I had many pictures, brothers and sisters, removed. Many pictures removed out. I had okay, no, it's not it. Yeah, they removed it. I had, if you look at this map here, I showed how across Egypt to Algeria. Now, and then they became the Amazigh people. They began to go south into Mauritania and stuff like that. They became the Sanhaja people, which I'll get into that. But I want you to put back in your mind about something. You look over to your left there, you see Senegal is this small, okay? Very small. There, it's a Senegal to your left. There's an area there that I had marked off in this other map. It's called Takrur. Takrur is on the borderline of Mauritania and Senegal, right? This played, remember they called the Tukulor people, the Hapular people? They're from this region, right? Who are the Hapular people? They what? The names because they speak what? Pular, which they means what? They're Fulani. This is where I'm building you from the last week now to giving you here. When they left from north from Morocco, remember to go into Andalus, which is above here, Spain, modern day Spain, to your left at the top. They went into Senegal to your left at the bottom here in the orange here. And they went in this region and some parts of Mauritania and Mali to get Fulani, Soninke, Bambara soldiers to go up into Andalus. See, and this map here gives you this indication of what happened. Now, Okay. Now we're going to start to get into this fast forward here. We have a lot of history when it gets to talking about the Amazigh people and the Fulani people. The Arabs who came across, who gave us Islam in the 700s. Remember, they came, and who did they encounter first? Lake Chad area, and to the north in the Savannah region, they encountered our folks, and they encountered also our house of brothers and sisters, right? And the Fulani took it and they began to spread it because they were already nomads going across the Savannah and the Sahel region. We know that. We know that. So we know they ended up all the way into the Senegal region, and they said they went to the area we call Toukrour today, which is on the border of Senegal and Mauritania, which I showed you in the map. Okay, now this situation here developed into something that we had a famous what we call Kabyles of the Amazigh people. And Amazigh people, these people here all today are mixed with who? Fulani people. The Sanhaja people are who my designation as Amazigh, I'm with the Sanhaja people. The Sanhaja people are the ones who went up into Andalus, especially the second time. And you say Zenata, Masmuda, the three great powerful there in the green, you see they said Algeria, Mauritania, and then you see a small green there. This is Senegal, okay? That's where Toukrour, they're there. You see the connection now between the Amazigh and the Fulani people. The small green over to your left is where we're talking about the Toukrour area and whatnot, how prominent role they played, because the Amazigh came to us. We were in unison. We decided to go jihad. The Sanhaja people who are Amazigh speak Amazigh, but they are black. And they enlisted our people again, like they did in 700s. And now we're in the 1000s. They enlisted us again. We went in jihad all in this region with our Amazigh brothers. That's why we have mixed with so many of them. We have mixed with them a lot and produced all kind of different offsprings. That's why the culture, sometimes you see a Fulani girl, she's actually Amazigh. You see an Amazigh girl, you see her face, you see the tattoos, you see her hairdress, and you say, okay, yes, she's Amazigh, but in fact, she's Fulani. See, we have that. Again, this is a better indication. Ignore that term near Berbers. It's derogatory. You see Futafula there. That's where the Toukrour people there. That's another name. Again, designating the Fulani people. Okay, we know that. And then you see up above here, this is where the nomads here, again, the Sanhaja people, they went and got together with our people and they formed this, jihad that was out of sight. And they went into Andalus the second time and they did a number. And so I'm hoping it's not mundane, because I'm trying to give you something, brothers and sisters, I want to bring you to speed how we got these names, how we are intertwined with the Amazigh people. We have Fulani people who will tell you they know this. Many of them say, yes, I agree, we have that. Because even today, brothers and sisters, if you look in the Sahara, sometimes you see an Amazigh person. He's a black man, but he speaks the tongue of the Amazigh dialect, and you see a Fulani man going in the Sahara together. They've been doing this for, they said from about the 500s. They've been doing this together. So what happens? The brother see his sister, they marry, right? The Amazigh sees the Fulani brother's sister, he marries her. See, so we have this mixture. And so this is, again, brothers and sisters, why it's so important that we have the correct history, because I'm leading you to what's going to happen. Okay, I'm leading you to what's going to happen in Andalus. This jihad that happened in Bilad Sudan, okay, was again something else. And it was so extensive, and they began to start a new revolution, an Islamic revolution, brothers and sisters. They started this here, okay, 700. They found in Western corridor to the 900s Andalus with the Mujahideen. Now, the Sanhaja people created a confederation in Mauritania. Okay, and the Sanhaja people were the main nucleus of, but we had others too. We had Jadela, and we had another group called the Lamtuna. The Jadela and Lamtuna all are black people from Mauritania, Balad Sudan, black. And they began to have conflict when the founder of Mujahideen came back from Hajj. He came back to his region there in central part, south central part, Mauritania, right? And he began to develop Islam per the Sharia law. But the other ethnic tribes there didn't like it. They didn't want to accept it. So Lamtuna was his Ibrahim Yahya is his name. And he then in turn got together with some other Muslims from Sanhaja, and they began to form the Mujahideen, who became what? The big dynasty. Where? In Morocco. It started where? In Sudan. Sudan, again, meaning south of, meaning black folk. Again, this is what they designate all of us. If you Fulani, Bambara, or Mendinka, or Mende, or Capelli, or whomever, or Igbo, you are called Sudani. Bottom line. That's why many of our brothers took the name Sudani as a designation, a badge of pride. Because when you heard Sudani, immediately they know two things: Islamic scholarship, second, war and jihad. So they knew this, but they also knew Sudan too. We had pagan tribes, meaning we had people who were practicing traditional African religions. They had all that too, because West Africa is massive. So it's not some small city, like a small city. So Mujahideen began to manifest itself there in Mauritania. The proof of our presence with Mujahideen, that the Mujahideen were black. Here we go again, brothers and sisters. You heard me talk about the racist historians say that the Moors and the people Mauritania, the Mujahideen, went in there, they were Tubac. It's not the case. I want to show you something here. Where is it at here? Oh man, did they remove it? Did they remove this too? Oh man, I tell you, you guys, boy. Okay, here we go. Now I got to put it back in there. Now, brothers and sisters, we got further proof. This depiction here is of the famous Abu Bakr ibn Omar. This thing was founded in 1413 of the Mujahideen, who went from where? Balad Sudan, from Mauritania into Morocco and into Andalus to fight. Is he black or not? See, this is again, and there's other such pictures as well of diagrams that were the British, the Portuguese, and the Spanish. They might have been prejudiced, but they saw something, they wrote it as it was. But the modern historians have changed this. And if you look at many of the programs today, you see him as white, lily white. So this is, again, proof about us being there. And this picture here, he's Amazigh. You see? So we're both black folk, but one is Amazigh, the other is Fulani. We're both black. Like this. He's what? He's Amazigh. But he can look like some of our brothers who are Fulani, but he's Amazigh. So this is not the modern day, many of the Amazigh you see today in Morocco, very white-skinned, but the original Amazigh people were black, brothers and sisters. Believe me, they were black. I gave you the indication about where they left. They left Egypt and started a nation called Dola Shabaka, which is my name. And they have another place called Wad Sudan. Think about that. What does that mean? Wad Sudan. It means a place of black people. It's a valley of black people. This is in modern day Algeria. I know you don't hear about things like this, but I'm giving you this. He was designated, him, as a descendant of the Moors that went. Again, he's Amazigh. They went into Andalus. See, this is what I'm talking about. And here's another brother. This brother here could go anywhere in West Africa, Central Africa, East Africa, and we would be calling him. I put him in Compton, California, in Los Angeles. I'll be talking to him in black English, you know, because he's a brother. He's a black man, but he's designated as an Amazigh. These are the people that we're talking about, the Sanhaja people who I have heritage with, who got together with our Fulani and Soninke brothers to form the what? The Mujahideen, the famous Mujahideen group who came to make a new revolution, and he went into Maghreb and became the dynasty there. So your first major dynasty in Morocco was black. These are the people who formed the first dynasty in Morocco as the Mujahideen. They were black like this man. See? So again, the map showing you here, you don't see nothing in Europe. Even though they show pictures of them being white, they're not, as you see. Here it is here. This is part, if you look down here where it says Mesmuda, you look at the dividing line, now we're talking about Balad Sudan. Balad Sudan is not white, never has been. So I wanted to show you that and to clear up again this famous mujahid of the Mujahideen, Abu Bakr Ibn Omar, was a black man. So was the Amir, Yusuf Josephine. He was a black man. They were described in the 10th century as being black, not white. So again, we go into this issue. Somebody will say, man, I don't care about that. Yes, you should care, because they whitewashing your history from you. See, and it takes Africans to do our history, because no one's going to do our history right except our people. Because I just showed you what they have done. Okay, I showed you what they've done. They have whitewashed. They have whitewashed our brother here. Okay, the head of Mujahideen is this man here, white. Now you see what I'm talking about. Why we talk about this? If you didn't know any better, you say, "Oh, okay, the Mujahideen who went into Morocco and into Spain, modern day Spain, Andalus, was this man." It's not true. This is the fallacy of what they're doing to whitewash our history from us. And some will say, well, okay, you know, so what? Well, it is a big deal. Now I want to show you something else. Here is another girl, Amazigh, okay? Amazigh, again, mixed, black, okay? And of course, they have European ancestry mixed in for modern day because she's modern, but she's Amazigh. If we changed her hairdress and some other things and put on Fulani type, you would not even know. But again, we have mixed so much. But if you're doing her DNA, brothers and sisters, you're going to find Fulani. You'll find Fulani in the heritage. This is what makes this so interesting. You'll find Fulani in in the heritage. Now, let's go into something else. You see this man here? He was drawn. He is Moorish. This was drawn. Look, his sword over here. You see the sword over here? It was drawn by Portuguese when talking about Andalus. Now, tell me, brothers and sisters, does he look Toubab to you? No, he doesn't. You see? And and the Portuguese and Spanish drew the pictures as they saw them. This is a black man. I put him in Compton. We'll be talking to him like, we talk to any other black man. We put him in Ghana. We put him in Nigeria. We put him in Togo. We put him in the Gambia. We all know him as black. But the Portuguese, everybody designated him as what? Moor. We also know them to be what? Sudani. You see, because everybody that came from the region where most of the people are black, they call Sudan, period. Irrespective if they're Fanti, if they're Capelli, everybody was Sudani. That's the name. So I'm building you up to this, brother, sister. I'm giving you this history so you can fight back, because you never know when you're gonna be called on to talk about something, because this is how many of our brothers get caught. They're thinking nothing until one day there's a conversation and they start lambasting our ancestors, and you can't fight back. You can't fight back. And we have this too much. 99% of us don't fight back. We'll argue, yell, and scream. But when that Toubab standing, he wants some substance. When he started talking about the Moors were white or they were light brown skin from Italy, many of us don't have an answer for that. Now you have an answer. Because Moor means burnt by the sun. So when you tell him, you say, man, you're not burnt by the sun. But I am, and my ancestors are burnt by the sun. That's why they call us Moors. From their own designation. See? So I'm giving you this history, brothers and sisters, so now you can understand. Now, here's the further definition of Sudan. It tells Sudan is a geographical region to the south of the Sahara, stretching from West Africa to Central to East Africa. How big it is, isn't it? You saw my map. The name derives from the Arabic Bilad es Sudan, meaning land of black people, because remember, Sudan means darkness of skin. Soda comes from a word. Soda means black people, black, okay, black-skinned. And so now, both meaning lands of the black Africans, referring to West Africa and North Central Africa. Also, all this region, again, Sudan. Now you understand why the Sudan designated is given to you and me and our ancestors. See, so when the Mujahideen went into, they're black folk, but when they went to a predominantly black area, they called it Sudan. No different than the brothers do in the United States. We know our brothers from the South, we say, hey man, he's a Southern brother, right? Or we say, oh man, he's an Eastern brother. He's from New York, or his style and his talking is from there. That's how this designation with Fulani and the Amazigh. We have that designation. Just like the brothers on the West Coast, we say, hey man, the brother's from Alabama, he's a Southern brother. Or he's from the Midwest, he's this and that. He's still a black man. Even though the Amazigh, they designate us as Sudan because of all of the black people, predominant black people, because there are lighter brown skinned people who were there even at that time, because you remember, this region has mixed a lot. But when you start going to Mauritania, because it's called Mauritania for a reason, black, then the people became more blacker. Then south of Mauritania, the people became all black. So they said Sudan. You see? Now you understand? Partial Sudan, Mauritania, and up to southern Morocco. Okay, more. Burnt by the sun, yes, black. But there's other ethnic groups there too, or lighter skinned. As you heard me talk about before. But when you get south of there, now we're talking about, again, Sudan. So, brothers, says you see that, and where I'm taking you, I'm giving you all of this history and whatnot, and how this came about. And this region, again, for those who are showing up now, this region here is what has played a prominent role in Andalus, and how we have to look at this for what it is, because it's true enough, and you have to get this planted in your head. We were integral part, if you saw my program last week, of Andalus. And the second time, as well, as we will get further into this, I probably have to do I'm going to do another program to get us into Andalus. But I want you to get this history, brothers and sisters, because I want you to understand what happened and how we got all of these particular names and whatnot. What happened? How did we become Sudani? What happened? What about the Amazigh people? Why are they called that? I gave you that, so you will have the answer for that. Why did they call us Moor, meaning burnt by the sun? Now you have this evidence. You have the evidence of the area where these people come from, the Sanhaja people or the Amazigh people who are black from Mauritania region, okay? And in the Lamtuna and Jadella, three major big Amazigh, all black. And then they went to enlist our brothers in Senegal at the, okay, the Tukrur area, right? And we'll get more into this as I will start to close here in some, maybe about 15 minutes, because I want to give you something to start you to understanding. Now, remember you heard me talk for weeks about some of our folks who are very angry with us, the Muslims, okay, even though they may be Muslim, and they have now an Afrocentric or African-centric Islam, which is wrong, and they start to tell us that if you have this on, you're wrong, that now you are Arab, and I explained something last week about this issue to clear it up. Now I'm going to give you further proof on this, brothers and sisters, so you will have the ammunition again to fight off even our own people who, when they see you, say, oh man, you know, why you got a turban on, man? Hey, that's, you know what? You better look at something. The Afro Arabs, our prophet had this, no doubt. He did. He wore this. He was proud of this. And I told you about the meaning of this, why we wear this as a headdress, especially the Muslims. And the prophet gave us special conditions for wearing this. Our people did something more. We began to do more with it because the people there were already black and brown. That's why they call them Afro Arabs, right? So now, when the Afro Arabs began to come to the Mauritania region and to Senegal, to the Tukrur region, and when they went into Andalus in 700s, brothers and sisters, they called them a name. They called them this name here. Wulatin Moon, the veiled ones, because they wore face veils along with their turbans. We were doing this in the 7th century. And then when they encountered, when the 1000s came, the Mujahideen came in, guess what they saw again? These black people with the face veils and turbans, again, coming there to fight them. They've already had their spiel in 700s when we came there and we kicked their butts. Now we're coming back in the 1000s to fight them to preserve Andalus again, which is a little ahead of the story. But I want to give you this history about the name that we were called. So this is a history, brothers and sisters, to arm you so you can discuss this matter. And this is what they called them because they wore face veils. So again, in the Sahel in the 700s, in the first conquest, they found them. Again, we had turbans on in those days and we have face veils. So you wear that proudly. You are not an Arab. Don't look at it that way, brothers and sisters. Now I gave you evidence. Our ancestors were wearing this back in the 700s. And the Arabs call them this name. And on top of that, guess what? The Amazigh people weren't really wearing that. The Fulani people were. And the Sanhaja, Jadella, the Lamtuna, the Masmuda, Zanata, all of these ethnic groups begin to adopt the face veil as well. They got that from us. Because when the Arabs found it, the black folk were wearing it. So now you have ammunition. And then when you see Tuareg and you see the Amazigh, you know where it came from. Because we trade, look, we've adopted things from the Amazigh. Okay, no doubt we have. They have adopted things from us too, like the face veils. Now you understand. See, this is a history, brothers and sisters, and this is something, again, why this is a very, 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 very telling story. I know someone said, "Well, I don't know what happened to Andalus." I'm going to get to that, but I got it. How can we get in Andalus and you don't understand the people who went into Andalus? You need to understand who they are, and they're not white and Tuba. So I'm giving you this history so you can arm yourself. And let me see some. We got a lot of comments here. Here, our sister was talking here. And my brother here was talking as well. You'll find that all over. In particular, this is germane for us in North Africa and West Africa. You don't find this more in the Central and the South. They don't wear that. You find this only in this region because we were the first Muslims, and not only that, we adopted this style. And then when we adopted this style, everybody else began to pick up this style. So, this is again why it's so important that we understand our history, because boy, I tell you, it's really amazing when you think about that, because all this time we've been hearing about the face veils. We attribute this only as what? Something from the Arabs. It's not, brothers and sisters, okay? It's not. It's from us, because the Arabs designated us that. See, because they say, hey, look at these people, black, wearing turbans and face veils. See, very interesting, very, very interesting, very, very interesting. Thank you, my dear brother. And here, see. So here, our dear sister here, she's Moroccan, but she has Fulani heritage, and she has the Mozab also in her heritage that she's talking about here, like my sister. See, so this is what I'm trying to say. She's Amazigh. But again, if you think about that, you say, well, it is a connection between us, because we left out of Egypt, brothers and sisters. We left out of Egypt almost together, I think. I think we almost left at the same time, because we have too many similarities between us, the Amazigh and the Fulani. Too many similarities. And we have intermarried. Now, not black and white. No, we're talking about black folk. They intermarried culture because we had different languages. Because black people speak different languages. So she's telling you here, I'm Moroccan, but I have the same DNA like your sister. Now you see what I'm talking about, brothers and sisters, huh? She's Moroccan, but she has the same like my sister. She's called Moroccan. My sister is called Fulani. You see, she's a Fulani American, but she has the same designation as our Moroccan sister here. You see the picture now. Now you're starting to see the picture, and I'm hoping, brothers and sisters, and she went on to say the history of Africa should be written by African historians. It's true. We do have some, but we don't have enough. And a lot of their stuff is not put out. We are seeing the negativity and the misinformation and disinformation about our history is too much. And we're starting to see that. And there's this here. We have we have ancient Ghana, which mirrored the Takror area. Yes, we had that. So brothers and sisters, now you're starting to get this picture here. You got the picture about Africa, and I'm gonna give you something else to show you something if they didn't remove it, which I got a feeling they took it out here. Let me see. I hope they didn't get it. Okay, now, brothers and sisters, I want to show you something about this. If you heard me talk about this, when I had my dreams, I went to a map to explain what was explained to me. This is the map that I had drawn by one of my brothers here in Morocco. I told him, I said, look, this is what I was told. Well before I had DNA, I didn't know. But I was told that we left from Egypt to your right to go into Morocco all the way down. And then you see the green arrow. They came from Egypt and went across West Africa, back into Balad, Balad is Sudan, back into Mauritania and the southern Morocco area. It's true. I have 500 relatives here in Morocco, most of them in the south. And of course, I have in Guinea, Bissau, Fulani heritage. I have Fulani heritage of brothers there in Nigeria as well. I have also the Fulani heritage in Sudan, which is to your far right. This is what I was given. So to show you the indication of what's happened. And my sister's DNA, she has remembered the word Muzab. Muzab people became the Amazigh people. She has 25% of that. See, 25% of Muzab from, again, originated out of Egypt. What makes this interesting, brother, sister, the fallacy that the Arabs is not, the Amazigh people are not Arabs. Morocco, 99.9% of people in Morocco are Amazigh. They're not Arabs. That goes to show you that our Arab brothers did not intermarry with us much. They just didn't. I don't know why, but and we're going to talk about a little bit of this later on in another episode about Andalus further as I get to show you what happened, how we get to save that. But I had to give you this history here in Africa first so you can understand when I start talking about the Sanhaja people, when I say Amazigh, when I start talking about Takrur, you'll know what I'm talking about. See, and you'll get this indication and you'll know. And and again, this situation took on a big task. As the Amazigh Murabitun came down to the Takrur area, we joined together in a jihad. That's why this jihad was massive, brothers and sisters. Okay, they said they disrupted the Ghana Empire. They began to move up. Again, move up. They're moving up on jihad. Now you can imagine this. Now we're talking about a 900, in the 1000s. Okay, this jihad. Again, the Muslims from the Hapular who are Fulani. Okay, Hapular meaning those who speak Pular. Okay, now Fulani, Soninke brothers, Bambara brothers also there. Mandinka brothers also were there in this Takrur area. Okay, now they joined the jihad of Murabitun. When Murabitun left to go away from the central part because they were being threatened, who did they get protection from? Our brothers from Takrur. They protected them as they have always done. They protected them. When they stayed among our brothers there in the eastern part of Senegal, right? This union, as they begin to convert more people from Animus and from Juju and from Obia, they became Muslims. And their force became big. See, and then they began to go up, again into, they start to go from in the green there, you see in the left hand right there, it's a small dot, green. You see the push on jihad. They begin to go up through to Morocco until the time they get into Andalus, which I'll get at another time, another segment of this. So now you get the picture, brothers and sisters. What happened? This jihad was so massive and so powerful, they began to kick everybody's butt. That's right. And Murabitun became one of the most famous of all the Mujahideen groups. People study them still today. I don't care for Saudi Arabia. I don't care where. Everybody studies and everybody knows of the Murabitun. Now I'm going to give you the history of them. So that way, when you see the Murabitun in movies, yes, we understand they paint them as white, but you will now have that indication to show they weren't white. Now you'll understand what's going on. See, so I got you to a point now, you know who they are. And the man who was leading the troops, and I have to get into this. Okay, I got to get into this. As the Murabitun began to move up, as you saw on the map. Okay, you saw on the map, they begin to go up now north. The Islamic structure came in, but and I'll give you the names in another time about the leaders of Mujahideen. But because of the prowess of the brothers from Bulad Sudan, we had a famous African brother, black African, really black African brother. And they called him the King of Sudan, because when he accepted Islam and all the clans under him in the Takrur and lower parts areas, this man was powerful and strong. And he, without the Muslims from the Takrur region, they would have never took Andalus and reclaimed it. They would have never took it because they did not have the troops. They did not have the fierceness. They had to have these people. And they call him the King of the Sudan because he now galvanized all of these troops from that region of Sudan. Again, Senegal going to Senegambia region, right? They start to take up black soldiers. And when I start to talk about Andalus, they're going to be a description. If you saw the caption of the picture I used, that's some of the caption of how they were drawn and how they were talked about. And this is part of this. And okay, let's see if I'm going to have this put, okay, the joint. Yeah, they took the boy, I tell you, they took the names out of this thing. I'm going to give you some heads up, give you a tidbit. Now, this is from a program, brothers and sisters, talking about this. To your left is Mujahideen, one of the original members, Amazigh, okay? Amazigh, Lamtuna, Jadela, Sanhaj, which I belong to as well. They range like him, but to our right is the famous warrior from Takrur, Hapular. That's right. The Arabs called him Ray bin Ray. That's what they called him. This is him here. Now they're getting ready to go into Andalus to kick butt. He was responsible for all of the Sudani troops that had entered the jihad with Mujahideen. This is one of the bosses here. His name is Ser Ibn Abu Bakr, yes. And he was one of the commanders of the Mujahideen and so forth. Here is the chief. They call him the King of Sudan because his jihad was so strong. You look at this brother. They had a perfect black African brother play our ancestral brother's role. Hapular. He's Hapular. And the Arabs called him Ray bin Ray. This is the name they called him. And they had a lot of respect for him. And the Mujahideen did too. And as I get into this case about the Mujahideen and what happened in Andalus, you're going to be shocked when you hear the story in the final chapter of this. And the role that our brother here, who was the king, what they call King of Sudan, okay, the Sudan, this brother here and the role he played in this. So I'm giving you this history, brothers and sisters, because I'm going to tell you something. It's a beautiful history. And I'll get into Andalus and whatnot. And I want to show you something. Where is he? Where we had to here? I don't see. I don't see okay, now. And I will get ready to close. Brothers and sisters, this is modern day Spain, okay? But they called it Andalus. How did they get the name Andalus? Andalus came because the people of ancient Spain, they were called what? They were called Visigoths. And the Arabs called them Goths, okay? That's what they called them. And they call them Visigoths. If you know the name Visigoths, they're the ones also aided in the conquering of Rome, if you know the European history. They called this region Vandalus. The Romans called them Vandals. Remember, you know the American term criminal, vandal, who vandalizes a house or a building? They call them Vandals. That's where it came from. So that's a history you should understand. The Visigoths called their land, they called it Vandalus. Vandal, that's how they came, this the criminal term in the United States, vandalism. He's a vandal because he destroyed somebody's property, he destroyed somebody's, so we call him vandal, right? And vandalism, when they destroy and burn buildings, this is vandalism. Now you understand where the term came from. This is what they call this region. The Arabs took it and called it Andalus. Some will say Andalusia. It all depends. But I want to show you this map here because why? When we came in the 7-Elevens, brothers and sisters, this is how much we took of that area. This is all by 729. This is what we ran. This is our brothers here. This is our brothers who came the first time into Andalus from, again, where the Takrur area and also the Messina area of Mali and Senegambia region. See, so now you have that. And then this is what they took. Now you understand that jihad that they came in, why it was so massive. And what happened when I told you, you see the cities here, these are some. As our brothers begin to take these cities, they begin to take their women, right? You know what men do when they're in time of war. You know that. I know that. We all know what they do. They took these women, and you remember my class, I gave you proof to show you something, about I just got word here. There's no map. Oh man, let me see here. Anybody else? Yeah, they said there's no map. That's interesting. I'm looking at a map, but you guys not seeing it. I got word here. There's no map being shown. There's no pictures either. Well, that's very interesting. Okay. I'm talking about Andalus. Man, that's very interesting because I just got this note about if anybody's still there, if you guys can post to see if you see this map that I have listed here now, because I have this, it shows 11 people. I wish somebody would send me a note also, that you see this map and there was no pictures. Okay, Marcus. Okay, you said you can see it. Okay, because I had another. Our dear sister Amina said that she could not see the map, so you see it. I can see it. Okay, good. Okay, maybe it's something wrong with her computer, but she said there's no map, but you see it, so it's good. I'm happy to see that. Again, this is the 729 map. Thank you, my dear brother Marcus. He said yes. He said yes, he could see it. So that's good to know whatnot. So maybe our dear sister, she can. And our dear sister here said that she can see it also. So thank you, my dear sister, for showing up as well. I don't get many sisters that show up here, and I wish more sisters would show up to see my program and whatnot and support me as well. But as I go on here, we got Andalus map 729. This is how much we had controlled of southern part of Europe. And you know, the modern day Portugal is over to your left, and this is our area. And again, how we created the Melungeon people, because as our Fulani brothers, Soninke brothers, Bambar brothers went in, and our Amazigh brothers, all black, went into these regions and began to take these towns. They took their women as well and put them under the protection. These women, because of the Anfel, the war booty, many took 10, some took 50, some took 30 of these white women, Spanish women, and put them in there under their under their care. And all these women begin to have babies. And you heard me say this was so extensive that all of Andalus, as you see here, was filled with what's called Melungeon people, the black father and the white mother. We call them in the United States mulatto. See, so I wanted to get that out to you, so that way you can understand the significance of that and whatnot. How extensive that jihad in the 700s was, how we got to Andalus and what we did in Andalus, and how extensive the territory that we claim under jihad. Remember, they went in with 12,000 black men, black soldiers, black Amazigh, Hapapular, Fulani brothers, Soninke brothers, some Bombard. They even said some Wolof were there as well, because they described some very tall, black, heavily muscled black men, okay, that entered into the fray the first time. And no doubt, to me, they sound like they were Wolof people, to me, because you know how big they are. Because somebody described some of these black men as being very big. I mean, muscular, very black, and very tall. So we think they were there as well. So now you start to get this picture of what has happened and whatnot. And now you have the ammunition. So you'll fight this, brothers and sisters. When you see this put on the TV set, when you see them talking about the Amazigh and our Hapapular brothers and our famous general, Amir of the Mujahideen, who became the first chief or the commander or the sultan of which they call him the Amir Muslimin, you know who he was. He was a black man. And I gave you that proof talking about that because his cousin was here. This is his cousin here, Abu Bakr. Abu Bakr doesn't look like that man you just saw in that program right there, right? This is his cousin. So, you know, Abu Bakr was his cousin, and black as the night, because that's how they described our black brothers when we went into Andalus. Even in the 10th century, we went there, they described us as jet black in color. See, that's what they described us as. So this is the indication. They were more or less like this brother here, who went into Andalus the first time and went into Andalus the second time. They were like this, okay? They were like this brother. They're like this brother and like this brother. See, all of them, these types all went into Andalus. All of these types went into Andalus. This is why they were described as they were described. But of course, the modern historians keep saying, no, they were not that. This is what they were. They were white, like right here, like Ibn Josephine is a black man. He's Amazigh, he's Sanhaja. He's from I'm at his heritage. Sanhaja is my heritage of Amazigh, and you see me, I'm not white, okay? And my grandmother's all we know, they're all black. So how can they be looking like this? But now you have the ammunition, brothers and sisters, to fight off that, because it's important that you do that. And then the area of Takrir, we have the famous Raib bin Raib, the famous warrior king who joined the jihad with the Mujahideen, and they intermixed with Mujahideen, right? And they went up north, and you saw the picture I gave you of him that is depicted of him in the show talking about them. This is him to your right. Over here again is one of the commanders of Mujahideen. He's Amazigh again. The lighter brown skinned. We have that even among our Fulani brothers. We have light skinned brothers and sisters like this complexion here. He's designated as Amazigh, but he's still a black man. Our man over here to right is Hapapular, the great king. They call Raib bin Raib. This is what the Arabs call him, because of his fierceness and the way he fought, and he was well championed, and he joined Mujahideen, and it was his nucleus helped to defeat the Spanish people. See, so I'm giving you this history to show you they were there. Our people were there, brothers and sisters, and the Moors were not white. None of these two brothers here are white, none of them. But you see in the movies like this here, you see this. Now again, you see our famous brother, he's in the back, but at least this show has a little better than most of the others. Over to your left is another famous Aisha, his name Ibn Aisha, because he's also related. He's Sanhaja and whatnot. And then over here to your right here, as I explained before, is another relative. This is Sir Ibn Bakr, okay, Abu Bakr. And behind him is our famous king from the Tukrur area. But you can see the people behind them as they played. At least they got part of this right. They showed the Mujahideen when they went going into Andalus, they were black and brown men. Now the man in the center is supposed to be the Sultan who becomes the Sultan of Mujahideen, who becomes the Sultan of all of Morocco and Andalus. He was black, but of course they had to play him because they couldn't find anybody. They had to. This is a famous actor out of, I think he came from Jordan, I believe, or Lebanon. I'm not sure which country he come from, but he took the honor of playing Yusuf Josephine. So I wanted to show you that, brothers and sisters, so you start to kind of get this indication, because I'm gonna get you into Andalus, and we'll start to talk about Andalus and what happened in Andalus and what is so significant about that. And I'm showing you now that we were there. I'm showing you that are there. This is what our people were there. Our famous general right here, king of the Sudan, king of the black folks. This man over here betraying him, powerful mujahid fi sabilillah. These people were something else to behold. They were some type of fighters, and we were there, brothers and sisters. Now you can see this. This is a Mujahideen. They're Amazigh and they what? Fulani. Amazigh and Fulani, plus we have Soninke also. Now you get the picture. When they entered into Andalus the second time, this is what we have. Again, none of them, again, were white. None, brothers and sisters. As you know, you see, none of them were white. Okay, yeah, okay. And I'll go one more thing, and then I will close here, our brothers and sisters. We got to always remember something. The racists want to subjugate our accomplishment and highlight falsely themselves in lieu of our accomplishment. You see movies today, they have even the king of Sudan, our brother here, Rob bin Rob. That's what they called him. The Arabs called him. They depict him as white, even though he's from the Senegal region. Okay, Senegal region. They still, but now I'm showing you, the racists want to subjugate our accomplishment. They want to make everything white, highlight falsely themselves in lieu of our accomplishments. They want to take the credit of Andalus. They don't want us to take it in order to maintain a false picture that they're superior over us. And it's not, and we know that it's not the case. There's no man superior. We don't believe this in Islam. There's no superiority of man except in his belief, but not in color. But because we have racist historians who want to make a false picture, they've painted the Mujahideen as white. As you saw the picture there, there's been, I heard this man's got about some 100,000 views, and they show Mujahideen and the famous Sultan is white, and now you know it's not the case, and you know that. And as again I showed you, they later on they will move to the north, of course, and they will begin to mix with the Europeans. The Europeans begin to come in the 1800s. So that's another story, and that's why you see the Moroccan people today. Many of them are very fair because they have intermixed with European Muslims who came to want to live under a Muslim state. So they intermixed. There's nothing wrong with that. It's the way it's supposed to be. We have no color designation as far as in Islam. So they came to live there in Morocco. So they intermixed with the Sanhaja and with the Zanata people, and they intermix, and that's what you see. Many of the modern Moroccans today are very pale complected. They move northwards, and again they form this confederation, as you heard me say, talking about that. And the Sanhaja covers a far range of Western Sudan. I mean, brothers and sisters, the Sanhaja people are even in Mali. They're there. They're a mixture of Amazigh and Fulani. And so now you understand that, and they range in colors. Like you see, you have a light brownish skin, and you have a very dark. This is all part of the Sudan region. Our great warrior king here, Ray bin Ray, he's black, but look at his brother here. He's a light brown skin. As you see this even today, go across the Sahara, you'll see one Fulani, he's lighter skinned, and the Amazigh brother is dark. Then you see another picture. Another brothers walking together. The brother who's very dark, he's actually Fulani, and his other brother who's light is Amazigh. So they're all mixed up, and this is why we have to get this picture. It was recorded that the Fulani Mujahideen were two types. They had the ground Mujahideen, and then they had the horsemen, which I'll get into. They had the horsemen with the long lances. Remember those long spears? We're good at that. And in the end, they actually finished off the Spanish. This is very interesting. And they left only 500. It's bloody. I don't want to get more into that now until the right time, but I just wanted to get you that. And I told you about the face veils. You see our brother here to the right and our brother here to the left. Here, if you know, I wear this as myself because this is my heritage. I don't shy from it. I wear my turban, and when it gets windy, full of, or very cold, I put the face veil. And this is what they call, the Arabs called us when they begin to see us. They be called this name, the veiled ones, because they saw us with turbans and veils across the face. So now you got that picture. Now you got that history, brothers and sisters. You see what I'm talking about. We were wearing this first and begin to move up north and all the way across North Africa. People begin to put the veil, but the brothers were wearing it. The black brothers from Sudan were wearing this first, okay? Along with their Amazigh brothers who also adapted this. The Tuareg began to adapt this, and some of the Amazigh from the north begin to adopt the face veils. And you see that today. I wear it. Now and then, I have one program that shows you with my face veil. And I explain to you sometimes fez, and when I go out, we have winds from the desert. They are so powerful, they'll cut your face. You need to have this. And many people today want to dress modern and they get cut up. I don't. I walk right through it because I have a turban on and I have a face veil. See, so I go to the masjid and the wind's blowing and the sun is cutting up. I'm walking with my face veil, my turban, you know, my email, that's what they call it. And I have no problem whatsoever. And our brothers were smart wearing that, the face veil to protect their face, because if not, some of these winds that come here and you know, in Mauritania and the Maghreb area, especially in northern part of Mali, they're vicious. And anybody tell you those storms? I even encountered one in Sudan. I told you about that. It was scary, like one of those movies, you know, where you see the thing rolling like a tornado, like, and the sand was coming at a fast pace. And I left the window open, cracked a little bit, and I had a house full of sand. I'll never forget that. And I never want to have that situation again. So you got this, and now you understand that. And I'm going to give you the next part of this. And here we are talking about here again, the king, they call him Rabas, but we know the historians know him as King of Sudan. Again, our brother here to the right, Raib bin Raib, he joined the jihad with Abu Bakr. I told you about that. And the joint jihad will conquer Morocco and then go back in Andalus. So brothers and sisters, you have this proof now. You have this evidence, and you will get the next picture, that the next program I have. And I hope I have not bored you on this, and it's maybe mundane, but this is history, brothers and sisters. I can't do this history, get you up to speed within 10 minutes. You just cannot do it. You have to be brought up to speed onto who is what and where and how we came to that. We came out of Egypt. This is what I contend. And we came out during the time, maybe also with the Amazigh people who were called who, as you heard me talk about, they were called what? The Mazab people. Okay, remember Mazab. And they formed a country they called what? Shabaka. That's my last name in Algeria, as you heard me talk about. So you have that evidence. Muzab people became the Amazigh people. The Muzab people also, they came Amazigh, and then we have the Sanhedrin people who also is my heritage. You see? So this is what I'm talking about, and now you understand it. Do your research, Muzab. You'll find many African Americans have Muzab. You'll have many African Americans will have this funny designation, Muzab or Mozabit. You'll see this, and you'll ask the question, what is this? You'll have this in your DNA. Especially if you go to Jet Match. Jet Match is so thorough. And one brother, I don't know, I hope he's got his DNA done with them, because he said he's very interested, because I got mine and I was shocked on what I found. And I found, because my sister did hers, and when it showed Mozab people, and I was shocked at that. I didn't even heard of that term before until after I started doing my research and whatnot. And we found out the Mozab people became the Amazigh people, which ended up in Morocco and Mauritania. See, so that is a very, very interesting. And you guys do your research on this and you know, and whatnot. And I'm hoping that you enjoyed this program. This is long, and the second program will be long, because now I'm going to go get you into, now you got the education about what happened in Morocco, Mauritania, how we got the Sanhaja people, who they were black, who did they join forces with? The Takur people who are known as Hapapular, people who speak Pular, meaning Fulani, right? Those people, I got you up to speed there. Now we'll be going into Andalus, and I'll give you the story, what happened. And I'm going to tell you, it is something to behold. And it's a tragic story, brothers and sisters. So I hope you stay with me the next time here in a couple of days. I'll bring you the second part to this. And if you can, please subscribe to my channel, brothers and sisters. Pass this on to other brothers and sisters. It don't cost you nothing. Only takes 1 minute to click the subscribe button and you can subscribe to my channel. I greatly appreciate it. Spread my tapes because I want our people to be educated and get good rounded education. We should be smart, not only just in basketball and soccer and so forth and music. We should have our history down as well. And I will try to give you much as I can of that. Okay, my dear brothers and sisters, until the next time, Assalamu alaikum, rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.